Hello guys, based on the responses that I have gathered through the survey, I have identified that most of you have requested for the guidance on leasing questions, and in our today's video I will put some of my comments and main techniques that you should use in your exam to succeed the leasing questions. So basically, while doing the questions, the main thing is that firstly we should understand what the question's requirement is. So in this question, the question asks that what amount will appear under non-current liabilities as at 31st December 2006. So for this purpose, we first should identify whether the leasing payments, we should identify whether the lease payments are made in arrears or in advance. Why we should distinguish these two types of payment method? Because if we are paying our lease payments in advance, then the annual payments that we should generate year on year are basically our current liabilities. So for example, if you calculate your year-end liability, total lease liability as for example 10,000, and if you pay your lease payments in advance, let's say $2,000, then it means that based on the 10,000 total lease liability, we will divide this into two pieces. The first piece will be 2,000 current liability, and the balancing figure, which is 8,000, will be our non-current liability. So in our example, it said that on 1st January 2006, Fellinico hired the machine under a 4-year lease. A deposit of 700,000 was payable on the commencement day of the lease. The present value of future lease payments was 871,100. Okay. So basically, in this question, we are given the present value of future lease payments. So if it was, for example, the amount of 10,000, and if we had any payments that we had to make before the commencement of the lease, then it should have been subtracted from the total amount of this $10,000. But in our question, it says that the present value of future lease payments was this amount that I have highlighted. So basically, the amount that should have been paid, which is 700,000 at the commencement date, have already been paid, because if it wasn't been paid, then our total lease liabilities would have been plus 700, which is something around 2,576,100 and 100, I guess, something like this. But in our question, it says that we have already made our first payment, 700,000. So we will use the present value, effective present value of 1,781,000 and 100 for the calculation of finance cost, to identify the total lease liability as at the year end. So what we identify that let me just calculate this through my calculator. 1,871 and 100 multiplied by 6%. 1,871 100 multiplied by 6%. This gives us 112 266. This is our finance cost, okay? And this amount, what is the record of this amount? This is debit finance cost, okay, and credit lease liabilities. This is our record for lease liabilities as at the year end, and when we are calculating our finance cost based on the effective interest rate. So for the year ended 31st December 2006, our total liabilities will be this plus this, which is 1,871,100 multiplied by 106. This gives us 1,983,366. This gives us the total lease liability of 1,983 and 366. Okay, and this amount should also be split between the current and non-current liabilities. As I said before, if our payments are in advance, then out of this amount, what is the payment that should be made at the start of each year is our current liability. So basically this 700,000 is our current liability, and if we subtract this amount from the total liabilities, then our non-current portion will be 1,283,000. This is our first question. Hope that it helped you to get some guidance on lease questions and how the in advance payments are approached during the exam. Feel free to ask if you have any struggles in your exam preparation. I will try to upload as many videos as possible. But for now, I guess that this question is enough for covering in advance payments and how the questions are approached and how we divide current and non-current portions, as well as how we identify the finance cost to be calculated on which amount.